Hey man, this is Ty. I just want to make a quick video here to try to explain a couple of things about what I'm trying to do now. So, as you know, we're trying to match a different clan. I don't know if you know this, but there's websites that people use that can look up information about clans and Clash of Clans. It's called API, which is information from the developers that people can get. It's open source, so people can use that information to find out things about the game. Like if they want to find out how many people play, or how many people are Town Hall 12s, or how many people search for wars, things like that. So this site uses that information and it kind of puts it in a useful way where you can use it. So you're going to type here the clan we're going to search for, which is this clan right here, and then we go down and you got the clan. It's got basic information about it, and then it shows the war log, and it can show the war log of a clan that has a war log hidden because the clans they play against might have their war log public. So the API gets the information from their opponents. So you can see some details about their wars, even though their war log is private. So if we want to look at this clan's most recent war, you can see their top one here is from August 16th, which is like 3 or 4 days ago. They have one war going on right now, which is about to end, and this thing should update, but it's not perfect. It updates when it can, and the people that make the website, they kind of have to refresh it or update it as well, things like that. So we get what we get, and you kind of have to work around with it. So if you look at their most recent war, the one that ended on the 16th, it'll give you some information about what their lineup was. So they're on the left. They're going to run 112, couple 11s. They have engineered clans, but they're not the traditional engineered clans that we think they are, okay? And I'll explain why. So also, look at what their opponents match. So we kind of want to match, what kind of opponents they're drawing. We can use that information to try to make a lineup that maybe will match them. And we have a rough idea of when their wars stop and start. So, it's just a game. We can, try to do this. When you look at their war log, one thing you want to pay attention to is the level of the clans. Like there's a level 6, 3, 3, 7, 4, 5, 4. Why is this level 16 clan matching all these noob clans? It's the lineup they use. It's their strategy. They're not using engineered clans to beat any clan they match. They're using engineered bases to draw noob opponents, players that have no clue what they're doing and they're not going to fight back. It's just an easy win. It's a different loophole. They fix engineering for the most part, because of past updates, but this is a way for them to keep engineering in a different way to keep getting wins. And it's really silly, but if we can try and match them, that would be awesome. So what we're looking at, we know when their wars end. We know, see how it's 60 star on the top one versus 20 star, 60 star. We know that's a 30 versus 30 war. No, I take that back. That's a 20 versus 20 war, because 20 bases times 3 stars, that's 60 stars. So this 42, 45, that's a 45 star war. So that's 15 versus 15. So they switch their lineup every so often, so that way people can't just automatically try to hunt them down easily. You don't know if they're going to run a 25 versus 25, or a 20 versus 20, or a 15 versus 15. So you just kind of have to guess and look for a pattern, and maybe you'll get lucky, right? So that's why we've been running 20 versus 20, and they have players that come and go. So like when a player comes that is there during bigger wars, you might know like, hey, they're going to do a 25 versus 25, things like that. And I have a rough idea of where these guys live. They live in Canada. I mean, the main ones. So we know that their wars start and end relatively close to like my time frame, So their opponents always have low-level clans because they're noobs. They run a lineup that we know is consistently 25, 20, or 15, and we know when they start and stop. They stay up late at night, so they always start their wars usually after 9 p.m. things like that. So if we go into the game, we'll go in the Clash of Clans, and I'll show you what I mean. And there's lots of people that do this. This is not the only clan that does this. So if you look at their base, when you say a base is engineered, look at this base right here. It's a Town Hall 11. All the troops are level 1, and they only have a level 5 queen and goblins. That's their offensive weight is extremely low. All right. And you can't do this anymore. You can't make bases like this because you can't make a Town Hall 11 now without making a Barbarian King at Town Hall 7. You can't make this base now because you can't be a Town Hall 8 without a Dark Barracks. It forces you to make Dark Barracks, so you can't have a Town Hall 11 without Dark troops. You have to have a king, a queen, and you have to have minions, and you can still keep your offensive really low, but you have to build stuff that's unnecessary. It's weight that you'd rather not have. And that's why these guys are getting this kind of an advantage, because they have 0 offensive weight. But if you look at their defensive weight, they got max point defenses, max expos, no infernos, max point defenses, which is archer towers, cannons, Teslas. All right. This base is a lot harder to 3-star than you would think. So even though you're attacking it with a Town Hall 10, it's still going to be rather difficult. They expect you not to beat it. That's why their strategy works, because this base is hard to 3-star, and they have 0 offensive weight, and that's why they get noob, trash opponents in wars. All their bases are like this. If you go down, to any of them, Tom Hanks, his offensive weight is relatively low. And his base is practically maxed, except for Splash. Splash isn't that important, just the point defenses. And all these bases are like that, I mean, I could show you more, but it's the same crap. And other bases do the same thing. Other clans. So, like, if this is a different clan that does the same thing, because I know they are. If you look at this guy's base, he's at Town Hall 11, no king. All his offense is very minimal. He's got dragons, no king, no Dark Barracks. So his offensive weight is very, very low. But if you look at his defensive weight, it's max point defenses, and it looks kind of rubbish, but, it's hard to 3-star, they're going to get an advantage in their wars, because when they have trash offense weight and strong defensive weight, that mimics what 90% of Clash of Clans players are, which are just rushed noobs. People that pay no attention to hero upgrades. They pay no attention to troop upgrades. All they want is that max Inferno and that max Eagle, and they think it's going to solve all their problems. And it doesn't. Like any smart player knows that. They need to have a balance, or you can have a lineup like these people do, and they have max defenses and no offensive weight, so that way the matchmaker can match them with trash opponents that they don't even try anyways, and they just roll them over with, other bases that they use. So you're saying, how are we going to match these guys if they run lineups, that, take advantage? So right now, we're going to look, at that clan we're trying to find, which is right here, right? And if you look at this guy with the red, the new mark, Since he left the clan and came back, it's going to show his war cooldown timer, which is 19 minutes. So we know that their war search started, you know, 23 hours and 23 hours ago. It's 2 days, but, prep day is 23 hours. It's not 24 hours. So we know their war search started, when this timer gets to 0. And then it takes a little more time, until they find the match. So you just keep an eye. You just keep an eye up here on their win streak. So when their war win streak turns 124, we know that their war is over. And that's going to happen anywhere from 20 minutes to now until however long it took them to find a match, which may be like an hour. So I just have to pay attention to that till that turns. Maybe give it a little while, run a search, maybe try to match. But how are we going to match them if they're engineering to match rushed opponents? Well, if you look at our clan, and we run mostly max bases. My base is max. It probably is a long shot that we're even going to match them. But if you create all these other bases, if you go down here to like this base, it's got minimal offense. It's got the minimal barracks, the minimal dark barracks, the minimal hero levels, and then I just built defenses to progress to different town halls. So this kind of mimics a rushed base, more defensive weight, less offensive weight. And there's 5 or 6 bases like this in here, right? So we're trying to make bases like that, to put us in the same category as them, so that way we can try to match, with stronger max bases, but we still have the low offensive weight somewhere else that maybe clicks a checkbox to try to, make the the matchmaker match it. So that's the game plan, and even if we match them in war, it's still going to be hard to beat them. It's not like you match and it's an automatical win. I mean, that's not going to happen, because we're going to have a max Town Hall 12, which is going to help because they're not going to be able to 3-star it, But we have all these bases that they have, they're the max Town Hall 11 defense ones. Those are going to be hard for our Town Hall 10s to 3-star, They have 3 of them. They got no offense, so, we're going to have to, it's going to be hard to get 3 stars on these bases. So, there's a fair chance that we wouldn't even win the war anyways. But, if you're smart and if you practice and you have a game plan, you'll be able to do it, And the thing is, these guys think this is funny, and so, this is what happens, I guess. Can't stand it, Anyways, so I hope that makes some sense, It's just something to do, this game's getting old, getting tired of playing it. So it's just kind of something new to do. There was something else I wanted to explain to you about your Clash of Clans account, because, I still use Google Play Center for most of my accounts. The old school where you switch bases and you have to type confirm and then you log into your new bases. Well, they have the new method, which is Supercell ID, where you can back your account up onto an email address, and it uses a different interface to switch bases, and it makes it a lot easier for you to play multiple accounts on the same device, because each base is backed up to a Google Play account, and each base is backed up to a Supercell ID, and you can switch between bases regardless if they were made on Android or iOS, Apple phones. So it makes it a lot easier to switch between bases. But I haven't done it because I think it's still faster to switch between my bases with Google Play. I have a couple on Supercell ID, like 3 bases, but most of them are on Google Play. So, for example, let's say your base is backed up on your email, HD, and my base is backed up on my email, CK. Now, you don't want to give me your email information, because that's your main email. You don't want to give a stranger access to your email just to play Clash of Clans. Nobody wants to do that. But you could make a new email address right here. We'll put a star in there. That's the new one. That's an email that you use for nothing else other than backing up your Clash of Clans account. That's the only reason you made that email address. All right. So you back up your account onto that email address. You have your email plus your password, and that's all secure. That's all on you. You're the only one that has access to that. You can go into the settings in that email account, and you can turn on email forwarding, which means whenever someone sends you an email, it automatically forwards it to a different email address. All right. So when you use Supercell ID and you put the email address into it to get the code to log on to it, it's going to send it to this email address with the star. And then you can put my email address into the email forwarding, so that way that code is sent to my email address. All right. So it'll give me the code to log on to a base. So then you're basically giving me access to one of your bases. Now, I can't get on that email address and take away that base because you're the only one that has the password and the information for it. I'm only getting the code to log onto the Supercell ID base on Clash of Clans. So if there's ever a day where you're like, screw that guy, like I don't want him playing my base anymore, all you have to do is go into that email address you created, turn off email forwarding, and then I can't get the code anymore even if I request one through Supercell ID. I use this with all my accounts. Like all my accounts that I use Supercell ID on, I have the email forwarding to my main account, so that way I only have to check one email account to get the code. I don't have to keep track of 3 different ones. I just forward it to the main one, and then I don't have to worry about it anymore. I still have to remember the email address, to type it into Clash of Clans to get the code, but that only takes a couple seconds to put in. So that's a way that you can kind of, let someone on the base, and it's against the rules and the terms of service, but this is a common thing that people do. It's better than back in the day where you had to link the base to someone else's account, and then they could get on it whenever they want, and there wasn't really much you could do. With this method, creating the new email address that you only have the info for, you can give someone access to, get the code through email forwarding, and it gives you the option of keeping that base secured yourself, and you can turn off that email forwarding whenever you want. So, on this email, right here, these are instructions how to do it. Turn on automatic forwarding, and we would have to do it together, but it would take like 5 minutes, But that's like if there was ever a situation where we even had to do this, we're gonna keep playing the way we are, and it's fine. I'm just telling you that this is kind of an option if we ever need it. But I hope this kind of explains a little bit more. Like sometimes, playing this game now, it may seem a little pointless. Like when we're trying to match this clan, remember I said over here, like all their opponents are trash. Level 6, 3, 3, 7, 4. They're just trash opponents, rush people that don't play this game very seriously. That's how they get their wins. Now, when we play in our clan trying to match them, like our last war, we just won. Which is fine. I guess winning every once in a while is not too bad. But we don't want to win every single war, because that's why we're in a trashy clan, we're in a level 4 clan right now, because that's helping us trying to match them. We're having a new clan with kind of rush players, makeshift rush players trying to match a different clan. So if we're in a war and I'm like, hey man, like we don't really need to win this war because, our clan can't be too good, or we're not gonna be able to match these people that are seeking new people, So that's why maybe we won't win them all. We'll only win every once in a while. Or if we abandon this kind of thing, we go back to just trying to war like we used to, I guess. It doesn't matter to me. This is just what I've been doing for the last couple months because, I don't really want to put too much time in this game anymore. But anyways, I'll talk to you later, man, and I'll try to get this to you here soon.